Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Fondy cast in the Spooktober series. Woo!
Ah,
Spooktober.
Eep.
Only side this time it's Alien 3, or as we've been calling it, Alien Cubed, and that seems to be not uncommon out there in the internet. I'd use the tagline of "On Earth, everyone can hear you scream," but much like the production of this movie, that doesn't make a lot of goddamn sense. But before we get into the ins and mostly outs of this movie, let's go ahead and check in to see what everyone's been up to.
okay, since I opened my mouth first, I
Yeah,
guess
you
I'll go
did.
first. So we're really starting to feel the fact that we're short-staffed again at work. So I'm very happy that I'm going to be out of town for next weekend and not
Cut to
having
the
to deal
chase.
with
Did
the
they
shit.
break into the vault yet?
I'm just waiting for the day we get audited, and that hasn't been fixed yet. We have working TV. We have like a little gate to the teller area. Vault's still fucking wide open. Um, yeah, it's not great. And there's other people talking about leaving, and then our supervisor has put in her job description out there in the wild because she's going to be taking the spot of our bookkeeper because our bookkeeper is retiring, and it sounds like one of the member service people is going to be moving to take our supervisor's position, and which is going to mean there's going to be an open spot there, which likely one of the tellers is going to take. So it's going to leave us two, possibly three tellers down because I've heard other talk of other ones just like leaving for other stuff. It is a mess, and like I said, I'm very glad I'm going to be out of town next weekend for the Halloween party Cody is hosting. I think I've finished my costume for that. It is. I'm pretty sure it is unique
Put it
on the
on.
face of
Put
this
it
earth.
on.
Oh, I could. There will be pictures by the end of the party, I guarantee. But
Put it on as the
um,
podcast goes on. Joe plays guitar.
I will
Yeah.
say, it
I do happen to
is
have a guitar right here.
tangentially connected to certain themes of this franchise. Let the
Right?
rest be a
Why?
mystery. Let the rest be
Why?
let the rest be a mystery. So, but yeah, so that's something for some of our other hosts to look forward to. The you listening, I'm sure you don't give a shit. Um, so, aside from that, God, I've been watching a bit more of Oak Island, which I'm still on board with. I haven't had as much time to watch it as I would have liked. It's been a busy week, mostly with work stuff and other crap I would rather not be focused on. So, what about the rest of you guys? Joe, what's new in your world?
Oh, not much. I, I have been watching some hockey recently. I am a Detroit Red Wings fan, and after a number of not so great seasons over the past few years, they've actually been off to an amazing start this season. They're only 6 games in, but they have won the last five in a row. And it's been pretty awesome to watch. So getting pretty excited, hoping this will end our playoff drought. Um, at one point they had made the playoffs 25 years in a row, and I think it's been 7 or 8 years now that they have not made the playoffs. That's
Wow.
Sounds about
great.
right.
So that's been exciting. As as I am wont to occasionally make random off the wall suggestions for people to improve their lives in my what I've been up to section, I have previously expounded on the virtues of spending time hiking outdoors because it's one of my favorite pastimes. I recently procured a set of trekking poles, which I have seen other people using, usually older folks, and I've always thought to myself, wow, they look kind of silly walking around with those things. But it turns out that they are pretty great, especially if, as myself, you're starting to get up there in years and maybe starting to have some pain in your joints and whatnot. I went on a hike with them yesterday, and it made it a lot easier to like go uphill, and my knees did not hurt at all, even though I've been having knee pain in general recently. And from what I've read, they actually studies have found that they make you burn more calories because you're involving your
Hmm.
arms in addition to your legs. So it's a weird thing where you're like getting a better workout, but it kind of feels easier. So
Huh.
give it a
Trekking
shot.
poles.
Trekking poles.
I
And
got a
as an
couple
added
mining poles recently, but they keep complaining their
Hey,
hands hurt.
And I want to quickly mention Justin said that he's going out of town next weekend for a Halloween party. I am also going out of town next weekend to
Probably.
purposely avoid Cody Fleming's Halloween party. I'm going to Detroit to see David Byrne live and in concert, and I'm very excited because he's one of my favorite artists. I saw his last tour, and it was maybe the best concert I've ever seen. So I'm not expecting this to quite live up to that, but I'm sure it'll still be great. Anyway, who else has been up to what?
Impressive.
Well, a brief side note on walking poles, because in keeping with my trend of fake sponsors, they are also useful for fighting off cocaine bears, crackoons, and possibly zombievers, one of which I might be reviewing on the site as like a text review later on. So stay tuned for that.
Oh, I was hoping that was the costume you were producing. I was getting real excited for a second there.
I'll
Zombie
say
ver.
they're not
You never
as
know.
good for fighting off meth gators, but they're suitable.
They just go right
Walking
through those
balls.
things.
The
Yeah,
real
no doubt.
Zombiever was the friends we made along the way.
Oh, and that girl from college. Anyway, on my world over here, let's see. Halloween obviously has been taking over a lot of my life. Trying to get that done. I'm feeling like I need more time now to get that done. We'll see how that goes. It's a busy week coming up, so there's that. Also wanted to put out there because it was so damn good. Um, School I teach at did a production this weekend of She Kills Monsters, which is a play I had never heard of prior to it debuting here at the school. I'm reading up that it came out in 2011, apparently. It's a drama comedy, but I thought it was delightful. It's about a girl who found out that her recently deceased sister was really into Dungeons and Dragons. And so half of the play takes place in the real world, and the other half takes place as this other sister, who is a cheerleader, gets into the world of Dungeons and Dragons, where her sister's character, more or less, is still alive, and she can talk to her. So it's kind of a really unique premise, but it is very funny. The version they played at our school, I was quite shocked, was very adult-centric in terms of language, with some profanity and sexual references, and also had some interesting making out happening on stage as well between two girls, which was a big uproar in the community around here, as you can imagine, because I'm a little more on the fringe of conservative slash liberal land out here, so, or where I teach even more so. But it was fantastic. It was something I would definitely go see again if this was something I ever saw playing at a theater near me, because it was that good. So keep an eye out for She Kills Monsters. Quite hilarious. Go ahead, Dan.
All right. Let's see. I finally, after almost a year, finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh,
It went so long because I definitely only got the couple moments of play here and there that I actually got like the ick for it. And I was playing for a while, like one battle a night, and then putting it down, and being like, I don't. Plus, like, I knew what was going to happen. So, but I finally finished it. Breath of fresh air. And so I got to put in Ghost of Tsushima, which has been sitting there waiting for me. And like, holy crap, that game. If you ever wanted to play a samurai, like that is the game to freaking do it. It's basically Assassin's Creed in Japan, the version that we all really wanted.
Nice.
So that's been my big outlet right now. All right. Well, with that, we don't want to, but we have to get into Alien 3. So why don't we start by going through some of these characters? Obviously, we're going to start with Sigourney Weaver being the titular Ellen Ripley. And then from that point on, it's a whole bunch of bald white people.
Yeah, I love the bald British guy. And bald British guy. Oh, and we can't forget bald British guy. Oh,
I
and
mean,
bald British guy in hat. He stole the show.
also
Yes.
Charles S. Dutton is pretty non-white.
There is that.
True. You're right
Joe
about
does
that.
not speak for the
Dylan.
rest of the hosts on the show. We let people identify as they wish here on the Fawn Pod. Go ahead.
Listen, I'm apparently the only one who used to be a fan of his TV show Rock back in the 90s, so fuck
30
off.
Rock? The Rock with Sean Connery?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Schoolhouse Rock? No, that's too far.
Love it. Rock and roll zombies?
Anyway,
Rock and roll
characters.
Characters, yes. Characters that stole the show. My favorite, was nobody. All right, somebody
Boy.
else go.
There were sure people on screen in this.
My favorite character was the alien when it wasn't CGI. All right.
Oh,
Mm.
I'll tell you, I'll give. He only has moments, right? But Lance Hendrickson back as Bishop, although
Yeah.
incredibly
Yeah.
damaged,
yeah,
like at
not,
least
not bald.
and not bald. It like gave a convincing performance as someone who had been ripped in half by an alien queen, survived like an ejection pod and then crashing into the planet, and then is this kind of like Ripley, why you have me alive? Please kill me. Like I like
Yeah, you
this
wanna-
motivation.
How about if we talk about characters who weren't in this, namely Hicks and Newt?
Yes.
R.I.P.
Yeah, I know that pisses a lot of people off about this movie, but they really deserved better.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like it's the way it goes down. Like especially, it's like so close to the beginning of the movie. It's like, well, those two very important characters from the last movie are just dead now. They
Yeah.
died off screen unceremoniously. You don't need to know anything else about it. They're just gone.
Yep.
So I've got a section in the agenda here to talk about like what the hell happened, and we're going to touch on that part of it in terms of
Okay.
like what the hell happened with those characters. But I just want to preface that we're going to go through here, talk about the struggles of the theatrical release, and then we're going to get deep dive into like what the
Right.
fuck happened to this film.
Well,
Because
speaking
that's a
of,
great point of it.
What happened was they chopped off the dead weight from aliens to start this movie. That's
I
what they did.
mean,
Oh.
speaking of characters that weren't in this movie, how about Sigourney Weaver as Ellen Ripley?
Yeah.
See what I did there?
I mean,
I don't know what the fuck happened. What did they do to that character in this movie?
Yeah.
Like, so much of this movie, it just feels completely unlike the character that we knew from the previous two, especially Aliens. And honestly, I feel like as I love Sigourney Weaver in general, and she's obviously great in the first two movies. I feel like she was kind of phoning it in this one. Like I feel like she's like not really emoting, and like it felt like she was just kind of there for a lot of it.
Yeah.
And she also like there are large stretches of this movie where she is kind of in the background. Like there's like a lot of this movie is kind of focused on characters other than her who are never really developed into actual characters. It's weird.
Well, and you want to take that
Yeah.
step further. There's a huge section, spoilers, of this film where her motivation is suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, she's been in and out of cryosleep for decades. She's lost the last two people she knew and cared about, and now she's, just shanghaied on this prison colony that's, is only very, very sparsely populated by people who decided to stick around after it was closed down. Yeah, I can't say I blame her, but it's a depressing theme to go
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, I can see the justification, but the arc, especially when watching Aliens right into Alien 3, is this like what the hell happened? Because you definitely have Ripley going from Alien to Aliens. She still keeps some of that like a little bit of hope, a little bit of glimmer.
Yeah.
Like she's concerned, she's afraid, she's PTSD. That makes sense. But it is very much the 90s, like total rock, total grunge rock, like
Grimdark.
grim
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I have a lot more to say, but I feel like most of my comments for this movie are going to fall under the what the hell happened section. So,
That's fair. I will say, keep that in mind, the thoughts you have on this, because believe it or not, this could have been so much worse. I will get to that when we get to the what the hell happened section, because we somehow ended up with the better product. I'm just going to put it that way.
also Brian Glover as the prison warden. Fantastic. Top-notch stuff. What an evil bastard.
He was a slimy little prick, but yeah.
Brings our list to 1. So anyway,
Uh,
Well, I enjoy whatever that like the bounce ball he had, the stress ball, like in a palette of characters who you're right, a couple visually stood out. Like at least his character had something that like, made him stand out a little bit more.
yeah. But yeah, everyone
Also-
else, I mean, not only were they bald and had very similar accents, they were all dressed the same because,
Yes.
former prison colonies. So that really didn't help to distinguish like 90% of the cast.
Yeah, it's weird. Like Paul McGann, who is an actor that I'm familiar with, he played Doctor Who in a weird '90s television movie version of Doctor Who, and has been in some other things that I've liked. I kept losing track of who he was in. Like I know who he is, but because there's so many bald white dudes in this movie, I kept being like, "Wait, where's Paul McGann?" Like it was like I couldn't even keep track of him.
Well, and as well lit as most of this movie is, I say sarcastically, like that also does not help with the
Yeah.
visual differentiation.
Yeah, there were. No, I'll save that for when we're talking about like production because it seems like we're still talking about the cast right now. But um,
Pete Postlethwaite is David Postlethwaite.
Gesundheit.
Creative
I feel
character
like-
name there.
I mean,
He was
feel
actually
like,
one of the few people I did recognize in the film, so I was like, oh, that guy.
I feel like he was in the movie for like 5 seconds.
How dare you? You just couldn't
How-
tell him
I
apart.
was gonna say, how can you tell?
I mean, he is very distinctive. I mean, Pete Postlethwaite is an actor that I enjoy. He's been in a lot of great things, but
Yeah.
he was wasted in this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty good way to describe a lot of this cast is that it's not like unrecognized characters. Like these are all actors we saw in stuff before and after.
Yeah.
A lot of them are excessively talented, but man, talk about squandering it in this film.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, just you can tell they blew most of their budget on casting. And the
Did they?
rest was just whatever they could piece together, it seemed like.
I
So,
will say I did like Charles S. Dutton in this movie. He didn't necessarily have the best dialogue all the time, but I feel like his performance was actually pretty solid.
he somehow survived like 10 times as long one-on-one against the xenomorph than anyone else in this fucking movie.
That's true.
So, props for that.
Is that the guy who used to be in that TV show Rock?
Yeah, remember from the early 90s?
No.
Which was
Oh.
also grimdark, apparently, because 90s.
No, I do not.
It was as was the tradition.
Yes, it's the style of the times.
Mhm.
I don't know what you mean by grimdark 90s. I mean, it's not like this movie is set in a factory that does factory. Just in a generic industrial setting.
Okay, we have to talk about this because this looks like a first-person shooter from the
Yeah.
Xbox
Oh, it does.
360 era.
Absolutely.
We have brown, black, less brown, and gray, and that's pretty much it. Like, if for anyone listening or my fellow hosts, if you've seen the Mystery Science Theater movie Space Mutiny, I kept thinking back to that watching this again because that was also an obsessively science fiction film filmed in just a fucking factory. There was supposed to be like a futuristic colony or spaceship or something, and oh boy, did this feel like that, and that's not a good thing.
Well, you add in like Justin, you mentioned earlier that the costumes were all roughly the same color, the same material. So you really had a block of people that looked almost identical running through a bunch of hallways that looked almost identical again and again for 2 hours.
There's one like a good way through the movie. There's this one. It's supposed to be engaging climactic chase sequence where they're trying to like shunt this thing to a very specific area. You can't tell where the hell anyone or anything is. It's all looks the same. Oh, is this the same hallway it ran down before? Where is this person stuck? I don't fucking know. Just
God damn it, you guys might lower my rating tonight. We'll see how this goes. God damn it.
Oh, also, apparently this was from the era where of CGI where computers hadn't invented the color black yet.
Yeah.
Because there are scenes where the xenomorph is supposed to be like in shadow. Hell, most of this movie is in shadow, where it's like about to ambush someone, and the parts that are supposed to be black are very clearly green.
Yep.
How do you fuck that up so badly?
The color correction. Well, so there's going to be a little bit of this in the what happened that explains parts of that, but obviously, the special effects and the color correction were really bad to bring in. So they really wanted to jump into the story, right? You got a facehugger and a dog, so they wanted the xenomorph to be a little bit different because its host wasn't a human; it was a dog, right? So that's why you've got this kind of like weird prancy kind of motion in the xenomorph. But at one point, to try to get the dog effect, they literally put a xenomorph costume on a dog.
I did see some footage of that, and it's hilarious.
It's pretty fascinating.
Well, it's weird though because it was I think it was a greyhound, but the dog in the movie is a Rottweiler. Like those are two very different types of dogs.
Yep.
That's
Something
weird.
someone tells me that was a budgetary choice. Like Greyhounds
Yeah.
are just a little bit cheaper and probably easier to handle than
I
Yeah.
Rottweilers.
thought it was funny because looking at some of the reviews from the time, I found multiple reviews that mentioned the slick visuals or oh, the visual style wasn't enough to make up for blah blah blah. And I mean at the time maybe I guess a lot of movies of the time the original Jurassic Park is one of my top three favorite movies, but like the effects in that movie, at least the CGI stuff don't really hold up.
Mm.
So maybe at the time they look better, but now it's like the visual effects in this movie are awful, like so bad. There's
Yeah.
that
So,
radar they keep like cutting to, which
oh,
looks terrible. Like everything, like every time they do a visual effect, it just looks terrible.
yeah. So Cody still feel the same way about the alien suit from the first movie?
Oh, I'm going to talk about the first movie. Just wait.
Well, so
Just
here's
you
the
wait.
question. Did everyone watch it in some form of HD, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Probably.
I think this is one of those movies that actually was hurt during the upscaling because things became a lot more clear. I think that
Mm.
at the time when we had lower res, like I remember the VHS didn't look as bad, but that's because everything was blurry some. So
Yeah,
it
but
helped.
film is HD. Like if this was screened in movie theaters, this is basically what it would have looked like.
Fun
Yeah.
fact, I went to see this in theaters when it came out.
Do you remember what the visuals looked like to you back
I
then?
mean, I was what, 9, I think.
Answer the question.
I don't not solidly. I don't. I remember it didn't look as good as Terminator 2. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I remember that. But yeah, I somehow talked my parents into taking me to go see this when I was a kid because this fucking thing was marketed to children. There were video games made out of it and everything. So it's just
Yeah.
like, yeah. And I
I know we
remember I
talked
probably
about
liked it less. Yeah.
And we
Go
talked
ahead.
about on the Aliens one exactly how like the toy line, and that's one of the things that was really pushing to get this Alien 3 out by a particular date because they had the toy line.
Mhm.
They were starting to build a cartoon series for the Colonial Marines. You can see early like scenes from that and some of the comics that actually came with the Alien toys. Like those were
Oh.
like going to be scenes in the cartoons.
I just realized my Ripley and Jonesy Funko Pop is in the basement.
Oh no. Um,
Uh,
So like yeah, this was a major marketing thing, and obviously like if they're sitting up on the shelves in Toys R Us, you're gonna get kids interested. I was in the exact same spot. I remember bringing some of those alien toys to school in like fourth and fifth grade. Like what? I had no business. Like as an elementary school
I
kid
had like
watching
one of
this
the
shit.
alien novels that I remember I brought with me to school in probably like fifth grade too, which is
Yeah.
just yeah.
Jumping on the story. So Justin, you as a 9-year-old, how'd that rape scene go over?
Yeah, let's make toys and video games off of this thing with about attempted rape and like religious extremism and
Yeah.
repressed sexuality,
I think the answer to
for
a lot of the
kids.
questions tonight is going to be cocaine, because
I
I'm
think
sure there was many choices made.
I think my parents explained it to me at the time that he was just trying to like beat her up or something.
That's actually pretty
They're
good.
just trying to wrestle. They're just wrestling.
So yeah, that sweet mercy that. Can we talk about like
Ah,
just the tonal shift in this movie from the last one too?
Oh, I know. It's so
I
so
just
abrupt.
oh my
Yeah.
God. I don't
Okay.
I mean I feel like I don't know if what I want to say should wait for what went wrong, but
No,
I
I
mean
mean this
Up to
is
you.
well, here's an evidence of this movie is that like we can't even start talking about it without starting to point out these massive flaws and inconsistencies and
Yeah.
problems. So like
yeah.
I'll dive in later, but Joe, go ahead and start talking
Well,
about
no,
it.
I mean, speaking of the sexual assault scene, I mean, first of all, that does feel like it comes out of nowhere. Like it feels unnecessary, but also I think the thing that bothers me the most about this movie is
Ooh, the most.
Ooh.
in the first Alien, I mean, Ripley survives, like she, does what she can to survive the onslaught from the alien and gets out of there. But then, especially in Aliens, she kind of becomes a badass. Like she is like a fighter. Like
Yeah.
she becomes like one of the greatest action heroes in cinema history.
Mhm.
all of a sudden in Alien Cubed, she is just a victim all the time through the entire fucking movie, and I hate it. Like from the beginning with, well, I guess we don't really know from the beginning for sure, but I mean, with her getting impregnated by the face hugger, the alien queen, like that is her being a victim of a different kind of, well, I mean, it is sexual assault
it's
still,
rape.
like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
alien rape, but it's a rape. So that pisses me off. But then there's this actual like human on human attempted rape scene where she needs a man to save her to like fight these guys off. And like, it just,
Yeah.
first of all, I hate that the filmmakers decided to do this to this character. But secondly, especially the way that attempted assault scene plays out, I just don't believe that the Ellen Ripley from Aliens would have needed to be saved in the way that she is. Like, I think the only time she really like does something badass in this movie is she punches one of the guys after he has already been knocked down. But
Yeah.
like other than that, she doesn't really even do much fighting in this movie that I can
Yeah.
remember. It just
Yeah, I mean, I think
feels like a 180 from the character that she became by the end of Aliens.
yeah, I mean, she helps coordinate the plan to like shut the xenomorph into the vat of molten metal. I think that's, I mean, it's not exactly like action hero badass, but that's like the only other thing she does that carries any sort of weight to it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was so tempted to say, and speaking of molten metal, just to see Joe flip his shit, but but
No smelting talk. Speaking of
Let's
molten
run through
metal,
this shit.
how hard did they rip that ending off of Terminator 2?
Oh, right.
yeah,
You're lucky that Chestburster didn't give like a thumbs
Yeah.
up as it was going
I was
through.
waiting for it. Anyway, sorry, Dan. Go on.
I was going to start going through the storyline here because I think getting through this is also a good reminder to talk about like some of the changes that happened. So obviously we've talked about this a lot, but immediately the opening of the movie, you're brought back onto Sulaco. You're seeing a whole bunch of warning signs start to flash because unbeknownst to anyone, there are aliens, there's facehuggers on board the Colonial Marine ship we saw at the end. You see a series of very flashed images about what's happening and seeing that the facehuggers are burning their way through, they're impregnating, they're setting off smoke detectors and fire alarms, eventually leading to all of the pods being ejected from
How
the
are there
Sulaco.
face huggers on this ship?
So that's an excellent
Somehow
question,
there's an
Cody.
egg.
I don't know. I literally remember being a kid, and
Yeah.
as a kid, my headcanon was always, well, the alien queen dropped a couple eggs while she was like flying up, so they're actually in the dropship. That's the
Mhm.
best explanation like 12-year-old Dan could come up with.
Same,
Because
actually.
otherwise, this movie wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
So I'm just picturing like the alien queen, you know, having an egg tucked under her arm like a fucking football, just like
Yeah, right.
charging through the station or the ship
Well,
and
and,
everything. And yeah,
and here's a question. Like, is it one facehugger or is it two? Because there's obviously Ripley gets impregnated with an alien, and then the dog does. Now, is that the
Yeah.
same face hugger, or now we're talking about two eggs?
it
two
can't be.
face
We've
huggers?
only ever seen them have one egg apiece.
Yeah.
And so unless they're changing the rules and not telling us they're changing the rules, because yeah, they latch on, they do their thing, and then they fall off and die.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They don't keep one in the chamber, as it were. You know?
Right.
Mm.
Right. They're bumblebees, not wasps, right? In terms of the stingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there goes another like the frustration of this movie is that there a overemphasis on this whole like egg structure, like implied back in Alien 1, definitely solidified in Aliens, and now we're like, meh, like we'll get fuzzy on these details.
Yeah. And again, foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Could have been so much worse. I'll get to that, but it
I
really could
took-
have been worse than this.
I took my notes in linear form as I watched the movie here, and the very first comment I wrote down is the audio in this movie is fucking terrible.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They
were
prefer the
like-
term grungy.
Let's
Yeah,
pick all of these large vacuous spaces to record in, but do absolutely no mic work whatsoever.
I'm glad it wasn't just me. I had to watch it with subtitles.
We did too, and I'm usually severely against that. So
See, believe it or not, that is one thing I do remember from seeing this in theaters. Because imagine that, but except in a large room where
Wow.
you're hearing echoing voices in large rooms on screen. Oh, yeah, not a great experience.
Sorry, you were on the ship, facehuggers. Yes.
Oh, so I mean, no, please. This is gonna be a very winding journey. So yeah, so the cryostasis pods get into the eject. They fly out, and they happen to be close enough to planet Fiona or Verona 161, known as Fury 161, a foundry and maximum security correctional facility inhabited by only males. So we get this pod crashing in, and then we see roughly them trying to save. They end up saving Ripley. They find Newt and Newt's body, although already by this point we can tell something's wrong with Newt. They give us a glimpse of what's left of Hicks, which isn't much. And then they obviously show the remains of Bishop, but we already knew he was in that state. So here we are. It's not even 5 minutes into the movie, and now we've wiped all but one character from the last movie off the books.
So how long were they on this ship for, from movie 2 to movie 3?
It doesn't sound like a significant amount of time.
1,000,000 years.
Well, so a couple comments I have here. Number one, this could just be me, but when they're showing like the new planet and they spend so much time showing that it's a double Y facility, and I'm like, do most people know what that is? So, like, I had to look it up, I'll be honest. But I was just like, okay, that sounds interesting, but what does that mean? And then you get to see the place and you're like, oh, this looks totally normal, pretty much. So what's the big deal with that? But anyway. And then the reason I asked the ship question is this was like the worst autopsy in the history of cinema, in that I don't know how long they were on the ship for, but like the continued, let's call it a trope, I guess, of like using the hands to shut the eyeballs of the dead. I didn't think you could do that at that point, because I, at least in my head, thought they were on the ship for a while, regardless of how quick they picked them up. Not to mention the fact that apparently all of the blood is still non-coagulated in the body and running just as soon as they come. Like, this is terrible. Still better than Alien 1? Maybe, but terrible. Nevertheless.
Get the fuck out of here.
We will see.
On Fond, everyone is going to hear me scream at Cody.
Yeah.
Joke's on you. On Fond, no one can hear you scream.
Just Latvia.
Yes, just Latvia.
So we get this pod back into the facilities, and at this point, the dog Spike, this Rottweiler, does what dogs do and goes to investigate and finds something suspicious in there. And we have a facehugger that managed to survive whatever the hell crash landing and flooding into the ocean, and is now ready to go. And decides to attack this dog, and no one's paying attention.
This is when I wrote the note.
So much.
Dogs, dumber than cats since the beginning of time.
My question is the dog also double Y chromosome?
Good question. Good question. How did it get there, and how long has it been there?
I hated this because it feels like it's done for shock value, like to do harm to a dog like this. But also, it doesn't even pay off. I mean, like Dan said, they're going to try to have an actual dog dressed in an alien costume. I could see if the resulting xenomorph was significantly different than what we've seen in the past, like if it was more of a combination of like that and a dog, but the one that we end up seeing in the movie does not really seem appreciably different than the ones that we've seen before. So they do all this, to this dog for no real reason. Like there's no payoff to it.
I mean, we do get one guy shouting at one point, "It's fucking fast," or something like that, and like all the xenomorphs are fast. And this one didn't look that much faster than the other.
Yeah.
So I think it was implied, it intended to like kind of nudge the audience into thinking, "Oh, it is different because it's quicker and smaller or something." But it does not come across whatsoever. Especially
when they, in the toys, very, very clearly delineated that, okay, if the facehugger does it against this kind of creature, you get a different kind of alien. You have the gorilla, the mantis, and then I'll put a pin in this one. They had a bull toy where like it had horns and it was on all fours, and that kind of makes sense. So yeah, like in terms of differentiation, there was almost.
I also
none.
Based on the credits, I kind of expected more different, because I noticed in the credits it said specifically like Alien 3 creature design by H.R. Giger. Like, which to me suggested that it was going to be something different than what we've seen before, but it really did not feel that way.
Nope.
Yeah, I've got a note about what the hell that was, and that also makes me very unhappy. So we'll get to that in a minute.
This is right
Okay.
about where the movie starts to commit what I thought might have been its biggest sin, and it wasn't audio or other things we've mentioned, but for some reason, I can only think this is the time period, but oh my God, the interjection shots in this movie drove me freaking nuts. It was like a half second of this, half second of that, half second of this, half second of that, half second of this. Look, the dog's getting mauled apart. Do you get it? Do you get it? We're going to come back to it in 2 seconds. Do you get it? He's still being mauled. Holy cow.
Yeah.
That was of the time. That also was due to some of the editing that they had to do for the multiple changes that this movie experienced.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, at least this was kind of before shaky cam became all the rage, so at least it didn't
Oh.
commit that sin.
It would have
But
had
it
its
would have,
tools.
yeah. Yeah. But so that's like one point in its favor, but it didn't even it's not even by its own efforts. It's just it was born too soon.
Yes. There you go. Oh, now I'm getting flashbacks of that. Although, is that the one from Aliens? It looks like the one from Aliens.
No, I think that's one from Alien 3. Yeah, because the ship's up in the background.
If so is the one in Aliens, though.
Oh.
There's
Oh,
but anyways,
I'm pretty sure this is the one from Alien 3.
Yeah, that
That looks like
oh,
Alien
hell,
3.
I think
I think
it's
it
round
is.
enough. I think
Wait,
it's
did they
Alien
use
3.
stock
There you go.
footage?
I wouldn't put it past them.
I would not either.
Batman and Robin are going the exact way past that sign they did in the other 119 episodes. Dun, dun, dun. All right.
It's just a very common sign.
Yeah.
There is a Batman and Aliens crossover comic, by the by.
Oh yeah,
Christ.
and Avengers.
And Avengers. Just
All right.
FYI.
So getting back to the story, now Ripley wakes up into this yet another hellhole. She's awakened by Clemens, the prison's chief medical officer, who gives her all the details of what's happened. Hey, both the passengers have passed. But Ripley doesn't believe the autopsy completely. She wants to check everything out. She wants to be sure. And in the process of looking, she sees evidence of the aliens' acid burns on the ejection pod. So asked to further examine. Obviously, Hicks doesn't need an autopsy because he's glibbed all over the wall. But we got to do an autopsy of Newt. So now not only are we killing our small little sister-esque stand-in, we are now ripping her chest open to make sure she has not also been alienized, which is I remember that scene sticking out a lot as a kid. Like, what the hell?
Yep. Yeah, just as if she needed further indignity,
Yeah.
after everything she'd been through.
Especially since later on, Ripley uses a medical scanner on herself, and they could have easily done that with Newt's body. But
Right.
all right, I guess we won't.
Good
Right.
So then we get a little funeral scene where I guess what's left of Hicks, I think they're really generous in that body bag as they're throwing into the furnace. But Hicks and Newt's body get thrown to the furnace, and we start to see more of our spiritual leader here, Dylan, stepping in and giving a proper eulogy versus the prison warden who kind of gave shit. But at the same time, we get the speech about in every seed there's a promise of a flower. We also then see our alien bursting out, so we get the juxtapose of their passing and this new birth coming out.
And like Joe said, if you didn't get it, it's okay. They'll flash back to it like three or four,
Oh,
7
yeah.
times during the course of this. Do you get it, audience? Symbolism.
It's a little thick, isn't it?
It's freaking waiting in it.
All right, so at this point in the story, this is where Ripley goes off to find Bishop to try to get some more details, and this is where the attempted rape happens. Ripley gets saved by Dylan. Ripley takes Bishop into the infirmary and reactivates him in a rather horrific fashion. Like, there's I guess a kind of biomechanical creature is going to have all kinds of weird wires and ports, but like it felt like a lot.
Kill me.
Can't get a USB
Kill
port in
me.
that guy? Yeah, really?
Oh.
We did not need more milk.
No.
I did not need the milk again.
Only the milk,
Also-
but it was like weirdly like twitchy and veiny.
Yeah.
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 Also, you
I
skipped the
mean-
part where the guy managed to roll down a horizontal hallway, which was super impressive.
Oh, yeah. There was a slight slope, very slight.
Yeah, and it was the
Must be because he was moving real fast.
so maybe like the gaseous metal condensed on the walls and floor and made them slick.
Super
I don't fucking know.
slippery.
I don't know.
Can you imagine the discussion with that stunt guy and like, no, really throw yourself into it. Like, this is gonna be a lot of effort. I gotta sell
Just
the
keep
hell out of
rolling.
this.
So why do you suppose? I wasn't sure if this actually made sense or not for Ripley's character that she does not like have a more forthcoming attitude with the information of the aliens in this one. After she was like, from the second one, nobody wanted to listen to her, so I thought from
Yeah.
that perspective,
Yeah.
maybe she didn't want you in character, but also she just went through aliens. So
I thought, yeah, that was another instance that felt like uncharacteristic to me. Like just how cagey, especially after God, I can't even remember the character's name. What's Charles Dance's name? Clemens.
Yeah.
Rock.
Sure.
Yeah, like after Clemens like explicitly is like, you were worried about a contagion. What were you really worried about?
Yeah.
And he says that he noticed the acid burns like
Mhm.
on the, on the ship, like, and then she immediately is like, "Oh, do you want to fuck?" Like, it's such a weird turn. I mean, she didn't literally say that, but she's like,
She's been in cryo sleep a long
she's
time.
literally like, "Do you find me attractive?" And like, rather than just be like, "There's probably this crazy homicidal alien being on this planet with us," it just felt so weird.
She was
Yeah.
crossing them off one at a time. Not him.
So the only thing I can think of is A, she didn't want them to think she was insane, maybe, possibly, or B, the whole like coming on to him was to try to get his mind off of that topic so that she could not talk about it because she didn't want people there to think she was insane. That's like the
Well, I
best
mean,
got.
clearly she was doing it to try to change the topic, but like,
But I guess if this new settlement thought she was just completely off her rocker, she was probably worried what they'd do to her. That's the best I got.
yeah.
I can see that. Although I'll give Clemens credit because I think after they sleep together, isn't there some line about like,
Yeah,
that was
he
a nice
does-
distraction, but
Yeah,
you need to
he
answer my
does.
question.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
he does
true.
mention that.
Yeah.
So good for him. But yeah,
Yeah.
it is a weird, especially since, yeah, like we're saying, she spent 2 whole movies screaming her head off about these alien things, and now this time she's around. And I can see your spin. I think that is the most logical thing is just the like, oh well, this situation. But you think at least with 1 or 2 of them, be like, hey, I also like I've encountered these creatures. They gestate like that. Again, like that seems like a reasonable ass thing to talk about.
Well, and also, I mean, they live in a future where they're traveling to other planets and they have like androids and like,
Yeah.
I don't think it would be totally insane to think that there is an alien life form, but also like she gets to the point with Clemens where it feels like they are starting to build like some trust in a relationship.
Pillow talk.
And like
Yeah.
even then, like she can't just be like, all right, so this and like again, like he calls her out, like he says he doesn't really believe the contagion story, and she still can't just be like, okay, so aliens, like I don't know.
Well, and here's an overly convenient plot device is that even though he only works for a short time, Bishop could literally like back up every fact of
Yeah,
her
that's
story.
true.
Yeah. Very true. Yeah.
It seemed like both of their characters continue to withhold information for no reason from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like these guys have a direct line to the company. You know,
And
it's
his
like
didn't even
they
have a
got
good
way more-
payoff, so I'm
Yeah.
like, what are we doing here?
I mean,
Yeah.
like if you're talking about Clemens and the reason he's there, like I think it was a great story. It adds more to the character. But you're exactly right. Like, and it changed what after he said that? Like it just.
Yeah.
All right.
This
Let's
fucking
see here.
movie.
Right? Okay, so we're at the point where, like obviously the alien has attacked a couple people, but there's like ways to explain it away until the alien ambushes Ripley and Clemens in the prison infirmary, killing Clemens, and then the Gallic character who saw the alien, but everyone believes he's crazy. Speaking about crazy characters, but then he sees in the infirmary, he sees the alien again, and then knows exactly what this is. However, he calls it a dragon.
Mm.
All right.
Is this where the alien pulls the body into the ceiling tile?
The first one?
So, correct me if I'm on this, because I may just be forgetting something, but have we actually, I mean, they clearly look like they have like some kind of prehensile tail, but have we
Hmm.
actually seen them do anything with their tail prior to this?
They
The queen speared Bishop.
correct.
I haven't seen anything to make it believable that with their body type they could pick up a body and climb through a ceiling hole at the same time and pull the body through the hole at the same time. Just a like
It,
morphology problem here for me more
it's
than
because it
anything
came out of
else.
a dog, Cody. That's what makes it different.
Dogs are known for their ceiling tile prowess.
Dogs don't have
Prehensile
thumbs,
tail.
man. Dogs don't
Dude,
have thumbs. I'm
too
just saying.
soon. Too soon.
So to your point in the lore, the tail is useful enough. They have enough control over it that it's like a weapon, and I believe some of the comics imply that there is some kind of like poison, like kind of like demobilizing uh material in the tip of it, and that's one of the ways that they'll be able to get people to stop resisting to get them cocooned.
Huh.
Um,
But we haven't
that
seen this in the
said,
movies, correct?
we have not seen that in the
Okay,
movies.
well, there we go.
This is all extended lore stuff. That said, yeah, that is quite the feat to grab that whole grown man up into the vents, upside down,
Right?
and then he turns around. So that scene completes, right? Body goes in the vent. Ripley goes running, like, oh my God, it's here, it's here, runs into that cafeteria, right? And then the alien proceeds to do it yet again, like immediately.
It does one thing and it does it
Yes.
It
well.
does two fucking reps of that.
I actually genuinely did love that part in the movie just because there's always like the asshole commandant who's like, we don't believe your story. And this one was
Mhm.
like instantly he got what was coming to him. And I was like, all
Yeah.
right, I like that.
Mhm.
And it immediately showed everyone too in the facility, like, nope, Ripley is 100% right, and now you're all fucked.
But at least we were treated to some more interjection shots before that of Ripley
Oh,
running through
Whew.
hallways.
that's
So we
what's
had
really
that.
important. That's what gives this movie its cube.
I didn't, because I had not seen the movie prior to this as well. I didn't understand at the time why the alien didn't kill Ripley, but now obviously
Mhm.
later we know. But
Yeah, right.
at
It's
first I
some
was like,
tension,
that's a
some
little
foreshadowing.
unbelievable, but okay.
Mhm. Auntie
Okay.
Ripley.
Pays off, pays off.
So the remaining humans see that this alien thing is real. Now they're talking about what the hell do we do? We don't have any weapons because this is a prison colony. And they come upon a plan that they've got a whole bunch of this flammable, toxic material. And hey, what if we use that to basically burn the hell out of all these vents that it's hiding and you like kind of burn it out, maybe like even trap it, like but do something to hurt it.
Mhm.
So they go through this rather extended mopping, section, which nothing sexier than a
Extreme
good
janitorial
mopping.
action.
Yeah, right. Mopping montage.
I mean, do you want a toxic Avenger? Because that's how you get a toxic Avenger.
Yes.
They could have used one.
I do. I mean,
Really.
another like, late 80s, early 90s trope, just nebulous toxic waste that is like harmful
Exactly.
and who knows.
If you got an alien dog, why don't you have a toxic human?
Joke's on us. They keep finding it today. Oh.
Oh.
All right, so they set this all up, and then there is a premature explosion.
I hate
The
when
whole
that
thing,
happens.
I know, right? There's Hims has got a pill for that. But the end
Him,
result
sponsor
of
us.
Yes.
I'm plugging you as hard as I can of phrasing.
But we could plug you even harder if you sponsored us.
So big boom, the alien's not there, and
We
so
could have a big
lose.
boom if him sponsored us.
Where's the bottom to this?
If you
It's
have a
Hims all the way
bottom, but you
down.
have performance issues, you could use some
Somebody's
help
on
from
his own.
Hims.
Oh
Okay.
goodness.
So we have this rather disappointing subplot of trying to blow up the alien. That doesn't work. And it's about this time that Ripley realizes something's wrong and then goes to this scanner, which we conveniently forgot about in the first act of this movie, to see what's going on and discovers that there is an alien growing inside of her. And she then identifies that it is a queen, although I have to admit,
Somehow.
after watching this and like feeling like I'm a big fan of this material, I have no fucking idea
I
why that's a
think-
queen.
You can maybe kind of make out the extra set of arms, maybe, but it's really grainy.
It is. It's,
Yeah.
like the rest of the movie. Um, so, and then I see in the synopsis here that it's, let's see, Ripley realizes then that there were two face huggers on the Sulaco. So I guess it answers the question I had earlier, but
Mm.
that also makes it even more confusing because now the Queen is running with double footballs? Like, what the hell?
Go long.
Yeah.
I can see
All right.
it.
And with that too, being that they've made a couple of communications back to the company, it now is apparent to Ripley that the real emphasis and the movement the company is sending about messages, hey, we'll be there in a few hours, is more so about capturing versus eliminating and saving everyone there.
I will say the whole thing with the med scanner is one of the only things the only clever things this movie did, because someone says that, oh, anything that was from the ship is programmed to automatically like communicate whatever happens on it back to the company. And it's like, because she went there and it got that scan done, they saw the scan too. And that's, that was like the only clever thing this movie did for the most part.
Did they state that in the film?
They did at one point.
I can't
It's
believe
like,
I
I can't
missed
remember. Yeah, I can't remember who Ripley's talking to. Bald British guy. And he,
Yeah.
and,
I think
and
his
he
wife. Was
mentions
it the white
that.
guy?
I think so. Yeah. I
Even the
mean,
white guy?
there weren't many of them, but it might have been. Uh,
Justin is also going to open up the can of worms into one of my least favorite parts of this movie, which is when the company starts to type to the base, awaiting acknowledgement, and waiting 1 second between each of those messages
Dude.
before typing it again like an 11-year-old kid who's angry online.
copy paste,
Seriously.
copy paste, copy paste.
Listen,
Message
man, the company
PTSD.
is like all powerful. They don't got time for your shit.
They look desperate.
They got time for a breath or like an extra carriage return. Come on.
Yeah, right?
Uh,
Let's see here. All right. So, given that the alien, now she knows that the alien's not going to kill her because of this embryo she's carrying, Ripley begs Dylan to kill her, in which they make this wonderful suicide-esque pact where if she helps the inmates kill the alien, then Dylan will take her out, even though apparently this is something Dylan's done a lot.
Why didn't she just jump in the furnace at this point? It drove me nuts.
I don't know. I got nothing on that one.
Like, I need to add trauma to you, buddy. There's no way I could kill myself on this base that we've already seen in this movie.
She has the whole thing where like she can't see herself doing it herself, so someone else has to do it for her, because the whole like ending your own life it's not something that a lot of people could do, and that's a good thing. I mean, spoilers, she ends up doing it anyway, but that's different circumstances. But leading up to that, she just doesn't feel like she has it in her, which again is a kind of a betrayal to the character, because I think Ripley would be strong enough to do to do the right thing and end the threat for good. But...
She just had to wait to see Eddie Furlong's face one last time.
Oh,
same Ripley, same. All right, so after coming up with this pact, they said, okay, well, we got to figure out a way to take care of this alien, even though our first overly complex plan failed. So now we're going to do another overly complex plan, relying on, yet again, materials that are untested and are very likely to fail on us when we need them the most. So let's start the maze sequence. All right, with the goal of getting the alien into this press, the press of which is supposed to take material and throw it into the molten lava. So the thought is we get it into the press area, and the press will then push it into the molten lava, even though there are walls, which Alien is known for climbing. But regardless of that.
But they made, oh man, did they make sure to let us know that the doors were like 2 feet thick and made of solid steel or whatever.
Yeah, Justin, you talked about this earlier, but talk about one of the least like logical sequences in movie in terms of like being able to keep track of what the hell is going on. It is door, it is hall, it is alien, it is white dude.
Like
again
and
again.
They spend so much time like going over the blueprints of this place and like, okay, we need you here, we need to close this door at this point and drive it here, and it's like all right, this is going to be an engaging sequence, and then it's all just dark, dingy, brown hallways that look identical. There might be letters on the wall, but half the time we're seeing this through the alien's point of view, and it's like running, across the ceiling and the walls, and like a freaking
weirdly
carousel.
fish-eyed.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's anyone's guess where anything or anyone is, where the end point is, where they are at this point. Does it matter that they didn't close this door? I don't know.
Would have been a terrible stage in a video game.
Yeah, it would have.
Some of the games were better than the movie.
So let's pause for a second here because you just mentioned something that leads into my next 3 points here all at once. So first of all, what is going on? And this maybe is what was changed, what happened with this film. But the CGI parts in this movie are terrible. But it was early, I get that. But they're terrible. And then we also get a couple spots where we get close-ups of the aliens near the trap, where I actually thought the practical look of the alien was the best it was in the series.
Ooh.
Yeah, I said series, Joe. It was the clearest view we've had of an alien that wasn't just hiding in the shadows black on black, and you could actually see the defined details of an alien for the first time. It was pretty awesome.
You can be wrong. It's fine. Go off.
Thirdly, I actually really liked the first-person point of view camera work for the alien. I'm not saying that it was good, but I enjoyed that it was like in there and done decently well. Apparently, they really like to turn the camera that one direction and just kind of keep going that way. But
it did give a feeling of what the world would look like through their eyes. So, I mean, I do appreciate that.
Or lack of eyes.
Or lack of eyes. Their senses.
Yeah. It's funny, Cody, you mentioned that black on black element. So this alien, though, does have the official distinction of being a brownish color instead of just pure black.
Like everything else in this fucking
Why
movie.
is everything in this movie brown?
he looked blue to me. Am I
Brown
off on
is
that?
the color of poop. I guess that fits for this movie.
Wow.
Hey, the molten metal was orange-ish.
The molten
It's
poop.
true. Cody said he had a third point in this sequence.
Well, those were the three: the CGI, the first-person camera for the alien's eyes, and then basically, or senses, whatever you want to say, and then three, the just the close-up practicality, like how it looked by itself.
And the Terminator movies also have first person from the point of view of the killing machine.
Yeah.
They did.
Is this just ripping off Terminator left and right? What the
Oh, yeah. I mean, they almost had Michael Biehn in it, so yes.
Oh, honestly, I guess James Cameron got the last laugh in that scenario, but
Oh, he did.
Very
Yeah,
much
and
so.
to be clear, James Cameron has been on record about this movie compared as like the next step after Aliens. He said it was a huge slap in the face to all the fans, which
rightly so.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So finishing up the story here,
But didn't James Cameron just make a part 2 to exploit the franchise into a franchise for money?
But
Like,
he did
who
it
the
so
fuck is he
well.
to talk?
but with quality.
Yeah.
With
With something people
marginal
actually
quality.
wanted.
We've talked about this on the past podcast. Aliens is not as great as you think it is, Dan. I hate to break it to you.
You shut
dare.
your whore mouth.
For my further thoughts and
I
feelings,
agree
on
with
this movie,
Cody
go
for
back and
once.
watch Aliens.
I agree with Cody for once.
There it is.
Aliens is not as great as Dan thinks it is, but it's still a great movie.
I'll take that. That's
It's an
fine.
enjoyable movie. I'll give you that.
We're finishing up with this maze sequence. We actually do get the alien in after many fuck-ups and problems and deaths. But we get the alien into this area where the Pistons already started late, but they managed to get the alien in there. And now it looks like the whole plan is going to work. We've got Ripley and we got Dylan. And in a moment, I cannot understand it all. You know for a fact the alien's not going to outright kill Ripley. So Ripley could like keep the alien in there and help Dylan get the hell out. But instead they've decided to switch it. And thus Dylan breaking the pact and really nullifying a lot of this benefit. But it does set up for Ripley's suicide scene later.
Yeah. I still don't understand how Dylan, survived like 30 fucking seconds of just being like mauled by this thing. Like he's a big guy, but for crying out loud.
And the alien
And
is
yelling
like,
at him while he's doing it too, I might add.
Yeah.
dude, yes, it's like he's degrading that alien. I'm surprised.
Talking smack.
Especially since we've seen the alien be like lethal in like fractions of a second. Like what is it doing?
I don't know.
And if you want to degrade an alien, try hymns for that. Wait, did I do that right, Joe?
I was going to say his name is Rock because he is hard to take down. And if you want to be hard to take down, look up our sponsor, Hymns.
Damn.
Love it.
So we get this alien, we push it into this molten lava, or this molten metal, and this molten thing. Substance. It's in there. We think things are good. And then just as the music crescendos nicely, the alien comes popping out. And now instead of being
most 1991 music ever
Oh,
when
yeah.
that lead hits too. I just rewatched it on YouTube because my comments were so strong about it. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Like they just killed the T-Rex and saved the galaxy and did it all in 1 second.
of course.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're ripping John Williams off as hard as we can.
Yes. And if you
So
want to
like-
rip off John Williams, no, see, I got to work on it.
No, that's if you want to jerk off John Williams.
Oh.
Okay.
He is already a customer of him's because he's quite old.
I see.
Gotta keep that wand up somehow.
Yes.
Oh.
Want to make your erection the Phantom Menace? Well, let me tell you.
It doesn't make me. I mean, their whole plan and the fact that it survives being dunked in. Was
If
it
you need
lead?
a plan for your hole,
Was it lead? Was it iron? What was it? What were they smelting here? Was it lead?
It looks like the official synopsis is lead.
I think
Lead,
it's
okay.
lead,
I think they did
said.
say lead at some
I
point.
couldn't remember.
but
I watched this movie a few weeks
Couldn't
ago.
tell,
so-
Justin?
It doesn't
Come on.
matter. It's a lava level. It doesn't matter. what it
Okay,
is.
yeah. So why were these things afraid of flamethrowers in like the earlier movies? Like, if it can survive being dunked, submerged in molten
Yeah.
lead.
Actually, that brings up a good point because the molten lead's a little bit warmer than your average flamethrower.
I would think.
Well, I didn't Ripley mention in this movie at one point that they were afraid of fire?
Yeah, she's
Well, I think
yeah.
that's why they come up with this plan, that's why they do the toxic waste thing anyway. Like translate that.
But
to
Justin's
fire.
asking if this thing could survive that.
Yeah.
Why are they
Yeah.
so afraid of
That's
fire? Because
fair.
obviously
Yeah.
it's not completely lethal, or it's not lethal
Yeah.
like at this
Yeah,
level.
I
with
mean,
the
that is a
molten
good
stuff.
point.
It
I
looks
mean,
like
this movie is clearly concerned with following what was set before it.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it looks like napalm or flamethrower fuel doesn't burn quite as hot as molten lead is when it's molten, but still, it's a denser material. It's submerged in it.
Yeah,
It needs a spark to start burning the alien. The lead
If you need a
doesn't do
spark in
I
your
got-
relationship, turn to hymns.
Oh wow.
you need a spark to light your crotch burster.
Something bursting on chest.
Oh,
So
boy.
alien pops out of the lead, or
I hope they see the
metal.
hashtag
If
on this
like
episode.
Alien 3, you want to take things doggy style,
Heck.
visit our sponsor hymns.
If you want to lift up another human being with using only your tail, try hymns.
Wait, what?
I'm trying to move on before I have to think too hard about these. Alien bursts out. Now it's all silver. It's like coated in the metal. So at least there's a kind of a visual change there. And
At least it's not brown.
Yeah, at
Metal
least it's not brown.
alien. It's like
Metal
Metal Mario.
that's pretty good. I give him credit for that shot.
Which again, ripping off Terminator 2 because of
yeah.
the T-1000.
Pretty much.
But did you see Ripley swinging on that chain over top those furnaces? That was awesome.
I mean, like the slow. I'm sure Zack Snyder's fascination with slow-mo started somewhere around right there. Because she swings. She gets the water, which water even in a furnace. I'm not sure how cold it is, but I guess the temperature difference is enough.
I would think.
And then we see our alien's head explode due to the difference in temperature, much like a pan getting kind of warped and wrecked when you change it around. And we finally have our alien defeated in probably more of a finite way than our kind of main aliens in the two previous films, right? Both of them were ejected out into space, and spoilers for films that come up later. Turns out the aliens can survive in space, so it's not quite as finite. So this one, she actually does wipe the bitch out.
Mm-hmm.
If
So
you
that's
want to
something.
wipe the bitch up, no, I'm not good at these. I got to work on this.
No,
Okay,
no.
all right. Okay.
But instead of getting the kind of happy ending, which is what we've seen,
If you want a happy ending,
I'm going to talk a lot slower and try to figure these out.
How much beer did you say you had, Joe? Just 16 ounces?
just a pint.
Jeez.
You should know by now that it's not the alcohol that makes my brain this way. It's just
true.
how I work.
The hymns, I gotcha.
So yeah, not the well, I mean, it's with the rest of this movie. We couldn't end on a
If
high
you
note.
need to bring a
No.
tall boy to a party,
Ooh.
Wait,
no,
what?
what?
In your pants. In your pants.
Ah.
Your pants,
Dance party.
party in my pants.
In between,
Anyway, so
Anyway.
Alien Cubed.
more of these interstitial shots that Cody was talking about, because while this whole thing is going on, we also got scenes of the company landing, coming out in, I don't know, garbage bags, I guess they're wearing. The costume choices.
If you
were
want to
little
come in a
bit-
garbage bag, I'm so sorry. I'm done. I swear, I'm done.
Woo!
Oh man.
This is gonna be quite the editing.
Editing.
He's
Leave it all in. Leave it all in.
There was
If
just
you
like,
want to leave it all in. Oh, I get it. Okay.
So what we're saying is the movie ends in an orgy.
Yes,
No,
it does. Morris
Orgy of
Ripley
death.
in the lava den.
yeah, we get a surprise visit from the company, including someone we didn't expect to see, Lance Henderson again, who, like, obviously Ripley immediately identifies him as Bishop, and he goes, "No, I'm the one Bishop was based off of," which I tried to be really close looking in my latest rewatch, but it looks like when he eventually gets hit, right, and his ear
Mhm.
flaps open, I'm assuming that means he's actually an android and he was just outright lying.
So
But
I was
wasn't
going to
it,
ask
like,
about
red?
that.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Where was that
Yeah,
at?
there is red, but like it looks so I wasn't sure if that was just like a shitty special effect or if that like I took it as he was an android, but I
If
kind
not
of
for the red blood, yeah. He
but
didn't
I
have
have
milk
seen
blood.
other people online claiming that he's not, but I mean it looks
Bad.
if he was a human, he would not still be standing and talking, and
Yeah.
he like doesn't even really
Yeah.
react to it, it seems
He
like.
barely
Yeah.
doesn't. That's I strongly believe. And then here's for movies coming up, it's a massive canon breaking moment because the Aliens versus Predator film,
Mhm.
which is supposed to be set in like, like 97 or something. Like Lance Henderson is also there as part of the
No.
Whaley Company. So he definitely isn't the original, like in that if you
Okay.
bring that timeline in. So
Yeah.
my headcanon says it is a robot who's just outright lying to Ripley, trying to make her feel better.
I was hoping, but I didn't come to a conclusion one way or the other.
No one took the bait on that one. I'll be damned.
Yeah.
I had some restraint there. You're welcome. If you like being restrained, I mean, what?
No, different sponsor. Different sponsor.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so God.
So the confrontation with Bishop's trying to tell her, like, no, we're going to study it. Like, or no, we got to kill it. We can't let something like that live. And Ripley knows he's full of horse shit because he is.
Mhm.
And it all breaks down. And Ripley manages to get this platform thing to get away from everyone. And Bishop's pleading her not to jump. And
We
she
got
does
learn from
anyways.
it. Yeah, just yeah.
And we see a interesting scene of Ripley falling into the molten lead, which apparently is really goddamn far down. They have a lot of time to fall
like-
because,
like the freaking lava pit from Temple of Doom.
yeah, really, goddamn, it goes for a bit.
There's 10 miles of tunnels, Dan.
But this doesn't go through the tunnels.
It's 10 miles. They all look alike. What happens if your
Yeah.
candle goes out? Keep going, sorry. Well, if your candle goes out, okay, I see what you're doing. Okay, all right, okay.
While Ripley's falling, we see the chest burster, the Queen, come out, and Ripley proceeds to like cuddle it, I guess, a little. Like that's the sense I got.
Huddle it?
Cuddle, like she's like almost like embracing it.
She's trying to keep it from like leaping
yeah.
up of her and climbing up the
What
wall.
are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Climbing up the walls. What?
She
Yeah,
grabs
I
it
felt
and
like she was trying to like contain it. Yeah.
she was trying to choke that chicken.
I always thought it was like way more symbolism than was necessary. So maybe I'm reading something into that.
Oh, I thought it was awesome. It was like her last act was having the quick reflexes to stop that thing
Yeah,
before it
Right,
could do
yeah.
anything.
yeah. And as they're falling, the queen gives a thumbs up.
Dun, 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 dun. Totally different
And
soundtrack.
the movie ends on a freeze frame, and then just the
Right?
credits roll over top of it.
Hard ticket to Hawaii.
Oh, we would have been
If you need
lucky
a
to have
hard
been
ticket to
watching
Hawaii,
that.
Jesus.
Oh.
You'll definitely get laid.
Oh.
hey,
Ah.
And then we are treated to yet another montage of the already closed facility being closed, and at the very last scene we see the escape pod from the Sulaco, and its radio is picking up the transmission Ripley gave at the very end of Alien, talking about she was the last survivor of the Nostromo, and that was supposed to be the end of the Alien trilogy.
Sad we'll never see Sigourney Weaver again.
I know.
If only we knew.
Oh man.
And yet, okay, I need to talk about this now because this is still better than what we could have gotten, because you mentioned that there were a lot of issues with the production of this. I don't know much about that. The only thing I do know is there was another script that was written for this by William Gibson, Neuromancer's William Gibson, which was novelized, and I tried to read it, and it was god awful. You think they messed with the aliens like gestational cycle here? Apparently the eggs can just like grow out of androids in Gibson's script. Apparently, being touched by them, they're now the thing from that other much better movie. Touching them can get you infected with like alienness, and you can just like have one burst out of you that way. That script was supposed to star Hicks, and having sent like Ripley and Newt on to some place where they would be safe, Hicks was not, despite that, he was not recognizable as the character he had been. He was just a jaded asshole, and the entire thing was less about the aliens and more about space communists versus space capitalists.
Mm-hmm.
So it could have been so much worse than even this.
But it's funny you mention that, because that actually played a part in the script of this in terms of like influencing its direction. So we already talked about the special effects and the production, which I'll just really summarize quickly here. The production was rough. It was rough.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about anything else in terms of special effects or music before going on to like, what the hell happened here?
I hate the fact that at one point, I think the Weyland-Yutani guys fire pulse rifles and they don't sound like pulse rifles.
Oh, thank you for calling that out.
Yes.
What the hell?
Just completely shitting all over, like further shitting all over the, any cohesion or like respect to this franchise.
So it wasn't like Fox lost the rights to that sound effect. They still had it. So did they just not bother someone to like go look for that?
No, it's just like, this is what a gun sounds like, right? Oh, fuck.
So disappointing.
That was the only thing I had to say about that we haven't touched on already.
CGI's terrible. So's the audio.
Yes.
So is the script. So is
some of the camera work.
I feel like this movie needed to have a soundtrack by like Tool or Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Just to fit the industrial vibe.
It
could have only made it better.
Right.
Well, that's what I mean. Like that would have been one thing that would have made this movie better.
Okay. So, but yeah, go on, Dan. I think we're ready for the behind the curtain scene.
All right. So what the hell happened to this film? And I'll give credit to there's a YouTube channel called McMuscles, who does a lot of like behind the scenes what happened in like video games and movies. And this one, he provided a lot of detail on it. So as you might expect, Aliens, it was 18 million to produce and like got over 200 million in the box office. So Fox was like, we're going to greenlight a third right the hell away. So let's go ahead and start doing that. So 1986 Aliens, 1992 Alien Cubed. So like, what the hell happened? That wasn't very fast. Well, The answer here is it took 4 years to get a script written to the point of actually greenlighting the production of this,
Ooh.
which is quite the time. Part of that is Sigourney Weaver, after being approached to do another Aliens film, didn't want to do any more sequel work, so she actually opted out of doing any more Aliens film at that point. So they turned to Michael Biehn to be Hicks as the main character and convinced Sigourney Weaver that she could play like a secondary, almost like side character.
Mm-hmm.
So that explains a little bit of like what the hell happened to Ripley or Sigourney Weaver, because Sigourney Weaver didn't want to be in this at all, much less the main
Gotcha.
character.
Huh.
She wanted to be in Ghostbusters.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, also a great franchise for the most part.
Yeah.
She wanted more money, an executive producer credit, and to be on a planet full of horny men. Those were
And a
her demands.
sponsorship from Hims.
She got 2 of those things.
She got 3 of those things.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot she actually got that credit you were talking about.
So what I have is that what got filmed was actually closer to the sixth major revision of the script.
Oh, Jesus.
One of which, the fifth one, was set on a partially wooden space station full of technology rejecting monks, which I believe, Justin, is what you were talking about in terms of the space communists versus space capitalists.
I don't quite remember. I don't remember them being monks, but I thought they were just like the United Peoples of Proletariat, space or something like that. I thought it was something like that. Yeah. But I do know Gibson wrote 2 scripts. I didn't read both of them. I only read the one. So go on. Monks now.
So in that version, Hicks and Newt were kind of like not so much killed off, but cast off really quickly. They went somewhere else, and it was Ripley on this partially wooden space station with these technology shunning men. And for whatever reason, that element of the script like really resonated with the studio, and they're like, okay, we like the no technology. We like Ripley alone with a whole bunch of dudes. But instead of this like partially wooden space station that sounds really expensive to build, we've got all this old abandoned factory set thing that we could use. So we'll just do it there instead. And so for whatever reason, that version, the fifth version of the script, mutated and became what actually got filmed.
Sure.
Wow.
So
okay.
Yeah, again, this is some 4 years after they started getting these people signed on for this project, including the director, Renning Harland. They had 4 years ago signed on to direct Alien 3. He got this now like sixth version of the script and said, hell no.
Smart man.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly right. He said, hell no. 2 months before shooting needed to start.
Ooh.
So at this point, this is when David Fincher was chosen as someone who the studio believed, and I mean, it's hard to ignore that, Joe.
I don't know what you're talking about, Dan.
Say more lighting. You can see the details. That's what I'm saying.
It's true.
Who needs Hims? Am I right?
You can see those eggs. So 2 months to go until shooting, they go like, oh, David Fincher, this is a guy who works very efficiently and like looks cool and get a lot of stuff done. David Fincher is the exact opposite of that director in terms of someone who's going to be like super efficient and go like, you know what, it's okay, we can kind of skimp on this shot. David Fincher is like this perfectionist who like, well, there's like video of him on set being like, we'll shoot it 1,000 times if it's necessary to get that. So almost immediately, once David Fincher was actually signed on and the studio started to see his process and how things were going, and with the filming date and the release dates in mind, they were like, oh shit, we picked the wrong director for this. And thus began the production nightmare. There was quite a bit in this. Let's see. So Sigourney Weaver got the version of the script, seeing her being the main character again, and thus she said, I'm only doing this if Ripley dies. That is a requirement because I'm never coming back to this. Spoiler, she does. But she said, I'm never coming back to this series. So it literally was Sigourney Weaver who demanded Ripley's death. There's multiple versions of the script of her getting off the planet, escaping all of this madness. And to give a story about like the kind of control Fox tried to implement over David Fincher, one of the first things they made David Fincher do as the director is to call up Michael Biehn, who, remember, 4 years ago, Michael Biehn was told, like, you're going to be the main character here. David Fincher had to explain to Michael Biehn that his character was going to be killed off screen, and to actually ask Michael Biehn, like, would you mind coming so we could like scan your body for like, for some body doubles we're going to like put into this thing, which he said, fuck
Wow.
no, and go fuck yourself. He said,
Ooh.
since he's regretted telling David Fincher to go fuck himself, but that was his honest reaction to like what happened there, and thus is the reason why Hicks is like gibbed all over.
Huh. Okay.
So this was to give an idea of like why the hell is the tonal shift so abrupt? Well, because Sigourney Weaver didn't even fucking want to be there, and one of her requirements to do it was like, you're killing my character, so I never have to do this again. There's no chance.
Oof.
Like it's script after script and permutation after permutation, and it just after a while they were making something to hit a release date versus making any kind of a film.
Now there are recent rumors that she is having negotiations to reprise the role of Ellen Ripley in the year 2025.
Why not?
I mean, why not?
Well, after Alien Resurrection, I would say that's not how you want to leave the series.
That ain't fair.
I can't believe we wasted all of our hymns joke before we started talking about Alien Resurrection.
Oh, God, that movie.
If you'd like to come again for your alien resurrection, then let me tell you something.
Are we going to be potting about that one, or are we drawing the line here? Because I have not seen that one yet. But
I think eventually we come back to these, right?
Let's take a break.
Take a little break. Maybe cool off a little bit.
Yes.
You know, and then
Yeah.
I mean, at some point we have to discuss the high point of the franchise, Prometheus.
I'm intrigued. I've never seen it, but I'm intrigued.
I've never seen it either. I've actually boycotted that.
Save yourselves while you can.
Well,
I really liked it.
as I mentioned, I had only ever seen Alien prior to this watch-along series here. So, which puts us where, Dan? Where are we at here?
I did want to go over the special edition, which is available. You can get this. A couple of big things that changed in this. First off, it does not have the dog chest burster. It instead has an ox chest burster, like this large cow type creature that's on the planet. Which do you remember?
They have a cow.
Do you remember any kind of cows, any oxen in this film?
No.
So I think they managed to cut out all of it. So there's a scene in this special edition of these oxen being used to pull the pod out of the water. Like they've got them in yokes and they're like pushing these oxen, right? And so then it explains, okay, well, the oxens are right by the pods and no one's watching, and that's how the facehugger gets on the oxen. So that's supposed to explain how it is still a different alien, but it is bigger. It's supposed to be bigger as opposed to what happened in the film, which is some of it is smaller. Yeah, and this was a decision. Again, they got this is in the special edition, so they filmed all this shit, and then they had to go back and post and add in the scenes with the dog. The dog was an entirely added character after they had to start making some of these edits, which really makes you understand. Like Cody, like you were saying, all those scenes they put in, because they had to fucking put it in somewhere. They didn't film this shit.
Wow.
If you need to put it in somewhere, visit our sponsor, Hims.
They also, in terms of the hair cutting, they talk about, well, there's lots of lice. Because there's a longer outside sequence, they come in, like the prisoners come in and they shake off their jackets and it literally is covered in lice.
Gross.
Like all these nasty bugs. So it helps like give a little bit of background into like why they're actually doing this. It's not like a throwaway line. You actually see the lice, and like a couple of people kind of have to go back in and out, and the lice keep coming all over.
Ew. I know I'm not going to do it.
All right.
But if you did want to do it, just kidding.
So the next major change between the theatrical and special is that whole sequence about them like getting the alien out of the vents and maybe trapped in this area, they succeed. They get the alien trapped. Like this whole plan, all of the prisoners, the inmates' sacrifices actually work because they get the alien in there. And they also have this like really extended sequences while prepping all of this and figuring this all out, where you actually see other characters and they talk to each other, and you actually see motivation. And get ready for this. So, do you guys remember one of the characters, one of the prisoners, is wearing like a little French like beret? Do you remember a little
Bald British
black
guy with a
hat?
cap. Yeah.
You remember him?
We.
He's actually
Vaguely.
French. He has
Oh.
a French accent when he's speaking, and he's only speaking in this special edition. And then there's another character with a Jamaican accent.
No, man.
Yeah, it's Yaman.
I did wonder why everyone in this prison colony was British except for Charles S. Dutton.
Yeah.
So this sequence has the
Wow.
basically as they're working the hall, they're like talking to each other and chattering about all this stuff that's going on and the aliens and stuff like that. So it adds so much more character into this.
It's interesting.
Uh, so
Yeah.
to the prisoner who was in the hospital when when Charles Dance gets picked up, right? And
Mhm.
this is Paul McCann. Do you remember Paul McCann's death in the film?
Uh,
You
No.
don't, because it was taken out in the theatrical cut.
oh.
So
Which
in this,
character?
this is Golic, the
Bald
one who's
British
kind of
guy.
crazy and calling the alien a dragon. He's like, I saw the dragon.
Oh,
He's
the
the
Okay.
one
one in the
who is
the
tied up
infirmary?
in the hospital. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You never see him die
Oh,
in the
weird.
theatrical cut.
Huh.
I mean, not that you could tell with all these
Right,
crazy
right.
characters. So when they trap the alien, he now having seen the alien a couple times and like believes it's this dragon, believes it's this like powerful spirit, he goes and slits the neck, sorry, of an inmate who's like guarding where the alien is trapped and lets the alien out, and the alien kills him on the way out. So that's why
Oh.
his death just disappears from the theatrical cut because his death was involved in a sequence they had to dramatically cut.
Huh. Wow.
So that just, and again, this is all filmed. The sound is even worse in these cut scenes because obviously they
Oh.
didn't even clean it up a lot. I know it's pretty
Oh.
bad. Let's see. I'm just making sure I've got nothing else. Yeah, that's so it adds a lot more, especially in terms of all the secondary characters. It makes the whole like burning sequence in the vent like be a lot more significant because it actually produces the alien getting trapped. It's actually I can't recommend watching this again anytime soon, but when you do, like seek out the special edition if you can, because it actually does put a little bit of a twist on some of these things and fills in plot holes.
I'm not going to do it.
Do it.
If I find it for like $3 at half price books when I'm out of town next weekend, maybe,
There you go.
maybe. But
All right, and that conclude and there's plenty more stories in the production, but this is all like little tiny things they're fighting back and forth with. So if you want to really deep dive in that, please go ahead. But I think this gives a good impression of like what the hell happened in this film is that it got made a couple times over and it
Yeah.
was studio interference up to the gills.
Well, that explains a lot to me. I mean, I was shocked to learn that this is David Fincher's first film
Mm-hmm.
because he's an incredible director. Like he made Seven and Fight Club and The Social Network. Like he is probably one of the better living filmmakers. And it makes sense knowing now that the studio was like so involved in interfering with everything.
hmm.
Because otherwise, it's like even as a first movie, like how did he make this pile of something or other?
Yes, indeed.
All right. Unless there's any other thoughts, I think it brings us around to ratings. So I'll venture forth there. So
Okay.
for me, it's not unwatchable, but it is not something I look forward to watching. I basically for like this pod, I committed to myself, I'm going to watch the special edition. So at least there's something else I'm kind of watching for. I'm actively going, okay, well, what are the new scenes? What's unfamiliar to me? And even with that, it took 2 nights. It was like a struggle. I just couldn't get through all of it. I actually was falling asleep during the third act. So it really it puts it around like 6.2 territory for me, which I generally say like if it's above a 5, I might recommend it to some people. So there's a small group I'd recommend Alien 3 to, but not a lot. I definitely wouldn't recommend it to the broad audience.
Okay. Uh, I guess I'll go next. I have shifted my rating downwards during the course of this. So I also nearly fell asleep several times during this. And it wasn't because it was terribly late or anything. It was just, it's not a good film. Like I thought maybe, you know, maybe I just didn't like it at all when I was a kid because I was a kid and it dealt with a lot of really mature themes and this, that, and the other. Watching it recently may have been the first time I watched it since I was like 9. I might have seen it sometime in the intervening period, but if I did, I don't remember, and that's saying a lot because usually I remember when I see a movie. There's just nothing memorable about this apart from how bad it is, like across the board, like special effects, sound, the set designs, the costuming, the script, what the monstrosity that was belched forth that they actually had to work with. Like I've seen worse movies, but I'm me. Most people haven't seen like Weasels Rip My Flesh or Deathbed, The Bed That Eats. I've seen worse movies, but they're not big, summer blockbusters. Uh, that said, I'm going to be thematic in my rating on this. I'm going to give it a 3 cubed divided by 10. So 2.7.
What?
Thank you for doing the math on that one.
Sure, I do what I can.
3 cubed divided by 10?
Wait,
Yeah.
wait.
Not
Well, at
0.9?
3 cubed, it would
It'd
be
just be 0.9.
27.
All right, moving on. We don't
Oh,
need an
3 cubed.
explanation.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
What was your
teacher,
number?
Cody. 2.7.
Not math.
That's fair.
Speaking of 3 cubed, the poster for
2.7.
this
Jesus.
the poster for this movie promises 3 times the suspense, 3 times the danger, and 3 times the terror. And I feel like this movie delivers 0 times any of those as compared to the previous 2 Alien movies. I honestly, this is weird for me because this is not a good movie. It made me really angry in various ways, but I did not entirely hate the experience of watching it. And I feel like our occasional co-host Matt Hudson said in our group chat that as like a separate entity, he really enjoys this movie, but as an Alien sequel, he thinks it's dog shit. And that's honestly kind of where I land. I mean, I wouldn't even say I really enjoy it as like a separate thing, but I think as a piece of like early 90s nostalgia, it kind of, hit me in a certain way and I didn't really hate it. I thought it was kind of fun in like a almost cheesy, like awesomely bad kind of way. But as a sequel, I mean, the first 2 Alien movies are both masterpieces. Like I prefer Alien to Aliens. I think that it is like a stone cold classic. I do still really, really love Aliens, though. I think it's a great movie in its own right. So it would have been almost impossible for anything to follow in, to fill the shoes of those 2 movies. But it doesn't feel like they've really tried with this one. And I mean, maybe they did try it. It was just the result of all the, years of development hell and studio interference. But anyway, all of this is to say, I'm landing on a rating of 5 out of 10. If I was rating it solely as an Alien sequel, it would probably be lower than that. But I feel like my weird nostalgic enjoyment of it raises my score a little bit.
Well, I have 4 wrap-up thoughts for tonight's podcast, which I will share with you at this time. First of all, congratulations to Elliot Goldenthal for using his success for how great the music was in this movie to get the next job he had, which was the classic Demolition Man. So congratulations to you. Demolition Man is a classic. Or is it?
It's a much better movie than this one.
Sure is. A lot more fun
drink to
than
that.
nothing else, but that'd be
Drink
fun
she
one to do a
sells.
classic or crap on someday. Secondly, I just want to say the setting in this movie actually is kind of interesting to me. I feel like you could do a lot of different movies, a lot of different plots with the setting that they chose here, kind of like this.
Yeah, because it's generic industrial factory.
Well, it's like that. No, yeah, but it's also this like ex-penal
But it's also
colony, and like the
brown.
people stayed, and I feel like you could do a lot if you took these prisoners and gave them like enough time to actually have motivations and characters, and have some like secret behind the scenes stuff going on, or like some kind of deals that are taking place. It's going to be a really interesting place. Unfortunately, they made it a double Y colony, which, according to stuff I'm looking up here, and I did as we were watching the movie as well, means that these characters are designed to be slower and probably not as, whole human-like as most people would be. Therefore, they completely wasted the setting in this movie. They didn't even do anything with it, unfortunately, which I think would be a fun video game setting or something, though. So there's that. And then last two wrap-up thoughts on this. Although the movie had a lot of flaws, I did want to just say I really did enjoy the fact that it was back to a single alien as the antagonist after Aliens, which I know you love, Dan. But to me, I was thinking about this, the way you go from Alien to Aliens to Alien 3 really remind me of like in the
There should have
video
been
game
3
world,
aliens.
going from like the tenseness of Resident Evil 3 to whatever the fuck Resident Evil 6 was to Resident Evil 7 again. Like it was kind of the same exact arc that the series went on in terms of the antagonists. So I like that there was only one again kind of hunting them down and preying on them as they were trying to capture that one. That was should have been tighter than it was. And then last thing I want to point out, my final comment on this is I really, really, really enjoyed the fact that Bill Paxton wasn't in this movie. So there's that. Fuck that performance.
Son of a bitch.
Fuck that
You
character.
son of a
fuck
bitch.
that guy. So, god damn, that character was annoying.
Game
Anyway,
over, man.
I know, right?
Oh.
I had this up a little bit higher. Maybe I was trying to be funnier at first when I originally put my number down, but I did drop it continually as we talked, and then I jacked it up a little bit at the end here. So 9.2.
If you want to jack it up a little bit.
That was good. That was on purpose.
9.2. Just kidding. I'm actually going. Pains me to say it, but the same as Joe with a 5.0 on this one.
Okay.
My math says it gets us to a 4.7.
Ooh.
Beautiful. That's firmly in the crap category.
Yeah.
If you want to get firmly in the crap, hymns.
Go to this colony where there's only men.
All right. Well,
Not great.
No, and I'm sorry to report that that trend continues in this series of movies. So to the earlier question of are we going to just jump right into the next one, I'm saying no. Let's take a mental health break to really steel ourselves for the next couple because it gets a lot rougher before it gets better.
Ooh.
Not everything can be Prometheus.
Well, I would say this is the
gods.
unofficial official into Spooktober, although it sounds like maybe Justin might have something else up his sleeve yet for us coming up here, so we will see.
Maybe.
So we'll be
Yeah.
in suspense as we find out.
Okay.
But what did we check out here? We checked out 3 Alien films, we checked out Marvel Zombies, and Chronos New Dawn, so a pretty good month overall.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And the most scary thing, Taylor Swift.
It's true.
If you want to be like Travis Kelce.
If you want to have a redwood tree that's not hard to see, hymns.
There it is.
This is gold, Hims. I hope you're not sleeping on this.
Just give us the money. We will say it 1,000 times a podcast.
Oh yes.
Like,
I mean, I
Joe
would
is
say it
in the
anyway.
crap line, though. I think that's my favorite.
Good
Sweet
stuff.
mercy.
All
Good
right.
stuff.
Indeed.
Anyway, we did it.
Yay! It's over.
Challenge trilogy done.
Bye.
So thanks, everyone.
See ya.
See ya.